Hi friends, it's Andriy and I'm glad to see you again. Recently I was thinking about what made Metallica such a ridiculously popular band. Why does anything and everything that's related to the band attracts attention? And one of the reasons of that could be a buzz. An enormous buzz Metallica creates in different ways. There is always something to talk about the band, about their music, history, either good or bad. And despite the huge popularity of Metallica, there still are things about them we don't know for sure if that's true or not. Mysteries, rumors, misconceptions, they too are a part of the buzz. I have talked about some of them before, but today we're gonna get deeper and wider, especially since I have learned something you might not have known. This video is also special because it might surpass the 10-minute mark, which I've never done before, so I hope my tongue won't fall off. Anyway, let's get to busting or confirming 10 popular Metallica myth. It's a tough word for me. Let's get to Moose number 1. We did question this claim by Mustaine that he wrote Leper Messiah, which initially was a song called The Hills Run Red, but Metallica didn't mention him in the songwriting credits. It seemed like he's just trying to find another reason to tease Metallica for kicking him out. On the other hand, Dave could be right, and the band just didn't want to admit they had used his ideas on yet third album. So, where's the truth? I can't drag it anymore. Yes, Leper Messiah does contain Mustaine stuff. At least, it's very likely it does. When I was working on my recent series of videos, I went through all Metallica demos and rare tapes, and here's what I had heard on a rehearsal recording from 1982 with Ron Margoni and Dave Mustaine. At first I thought, wow, that could have been a great song, and then I realized that's the middle section of Leper Messiah. The riffing was changed, but the chord progression and the ending remained. The rehearsal tape features riffs by both Dave and James, but in the context of the songwriting dispute, now the scales seem to be tipped in favor of Mustaine. We still should get an official yes or no by Metallica, but screw it. Mice number 2. If you're a Metallica nerd, or at least you once played guitar or bass over For Whom the Bell Tolls, you might have noticed that it's not exactly in E standard tuning. Technically it is, but slightly sharp. And if you try to play the rest of Ride the Lightning, same came up on Fade to Black, Creeping Death, and to a lesser extent on Ride the Lightning, the song. I came across different theories, the most popular being that this way they matched the pitch of the song to that of the bell, which was actually an anvil, but you already know it. My initial assumption was that those songs were mixed on different mixing desks, which happened to roll a bit faster. So I reached out to Flemming Rasmussen, the guy who was in charge of that stuff back in 1984, and here's what he answered. They basically sped up the songs to make them sound tighter, which was a common practice back then. Mess number 3. And here we are again. I have made a video where I was speculating about what could have happened if Jason stayed in the band. Honestly, I don't remember what conclusions were made there, because I never watch my videos once they are public. I can't. I just can't. Anyway, was Jason the one in charge of how Metallica should sound? Was Jason the one who wrote most of the riffs? After all, was Jason Lars? It's been admitted numerous times that Jason Newsted was not a decision maker in the band. His job was clear, as it had been informally settled down in the first 4 years. Anyway, his departure could could affect a mood inside the band, which could become a source of the strong emotions we hear on Saint Anger. So lyrically, emotionally, maybe to some extent, but musically and in general, no way. Myth number 4. 6 or 7 takes. This is what it took for Cliff to record Anesthesia. You've heard that from me before, but let me clarify a few nuances. Firstly, he still did the solo in one continuous take. The intro words don't count. Secondly, who says that the previous attempts were fucked up? According to Lars, each of the takes was different, as Cliff improvised a lot. And yeah, a good half of the solo was done offhand and with brutal headbanging, just like Burton went live. Myth number 5. And as a result of that, his bass is not audible in Justice for All. Some people still believe that, and even James made the assumption in one interview. Firstly, the debate seems to be ended, since we all know now why the bass is buried. Lars wanted the drums to sound a certain way, even though everyone said, it's already fine, chill man. But Lars' ego took over the situation, so he made the mixing guy lower the volume of Jason's parts. I might have paraphrased it, so go check out Lidwar's video with the original story. Secondly, contrary to popular belief, Jason did not double guitar parts every chance he got. His approach to arrangement developed over the years, which also was dictated by the style of music Metallica played on a certain album. But I still cannot call the work Jason did on Justice for All doubling the guitar. Listen to isolated bass tracks available on YouTube and see it for yourself. Even on the only riff that Jason wrote for the album, he let James to play the original way, while bass did a bit different part. Myth number 6. Tapping into the emotional void. Was released 2 years prior to the Black Album, and the XL riff could be circling in Kirk's subconscious in the process of creating the Enter Sandman leak. To me, Sanitarium and Seek and Destroy are more of a ripoff than Sandman. Myth number 7. Among all the ideas that Cliff Burton contributed to Metallica, only a couple might be considered speed metal or thrash metal. Basically, it's only the second part of Anesthesia and the tremolo-ish riff from Orion. The rest are mostly melodic harmonies or variations on classical pieces. Harmonies in general are perhaps the most significant musical thing that Metallica inherited from Cliff. Essentially, all the thrash stuff was written by guitar players. And James, Dave, Kirk. Fun fact that one of the most exemplary thrash metal leaks ever belongs to Cliff's successor, with whom Metallica later recorded the Poppy albums. As Lars Ulrich said, Cliff loved the energy, the aggression, but his whole net was too wide for just a metal band. Myth number 8. I must say, back in the day I really thought that if Caught in the Mosh is the best Anthrax song, what the f*** are they doing in the Big Four? So I believe that Anthrax got the spot alongside Slayer, Megadeth and Metallica only thanks to the latter being their close friends. Anthrax more than once lent a helping hand to James and company. And the most famous such story is probably when Metallica's equipment got stolen and Anthrax shared their gear for the rest of the tour. Not to mention all the support they gave during Kill 'Em All recording. But then worship music happened. And a few years later, For All Kings. Man, these albums turned out to be so great. So the dubs about Anthrax coolness now are pointless. They managed to do what the other bands couldn't. Sound fresh in their 50s. The aged vocals of Belladonna now fits perfectly the riffs of Quen, which are better than ever, by the way. They have grown and paid the advance given in the 80s, if there was such at all. So go check out those albums, and this is coming from a Metallica fan. MILF number 9. Even though there is a electric organ in the rough mix of Orion, the album version does sound a lot different. I believe that Cliff would not miss such an opportunity to reach another dimension in his bass sound, so he eventually ended up recording it on bass. Why then does the intro feature a keyboard in the rough mix? Cliff could just test it. The composition was still in progress, so he tried different things. Some had worked out, and some had not. I'm so curious when the day is going to come, when there's nothing more to discuss about Metallica. But it's not coming anytime soon, for the reason explained in the beginning of the video. And since we've got so far, why stop? Let's complete the mission. Anyway, we've done it. I hope you found this video interesting. Greetings to those who are new to this channel. I hope you're enjoying the community. Thanks for watching. It's Andriy. Be in metal.